One of the negative things that I used to tell myself is that I was broken. But I realized that it wasn't me being broken as much as it was me being overwhelmed. And the narrative then shifted from I'm defective to like, okay, I don't have the capacity, right? For many years, I joke about this, but I had the role of the caretaker, the fixer, right? And I was the emotional janitor and the cleanup crew, as I call it, or the emotional laborer. And so basically, what that means is like in my familial role, I was in a situation where I had to be the one to make sure that everybody's emotions were attuned to, and then I also had to be the one to clean it up if it wasn't right. And that caused me in my negative thinking to be like, I'm broken down, there's something wrong. No, 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 no. It was overload. I literally was overloaded. I was over functioning. I had a role that I never ever auditioned for, nor a role that I wanted. And what I now have realized is what I labeled as instability was actually my nervous system being saturated with other people's stuff, not even only mine, right? I'm holding roles and expectations, emotional labor, spiritual pressure, right? We know where all that comes in. And then relational tension simultaneously because I'm looking at all these other people who won't hold their own stuff, but who are wanting me to hold it for them. And I was burnt, like burning the candle at both ends. Energy being misallocated was so visible that I saw clearly that I was investing disproportionate energy into managing other people's comfort, which I know that a lot of us can relate to, right? Preserving this relational harmony, right? So this semblance of like keeping the role so that we can have a family, proving that I was competent in my professional career while I'm doing all of this stuff. And then again, I'm going to say it again, maintaining a role that no longer fit. I don't even know if it ever fit. And I'm protecting a system, a familial system that wasn't protecting me. I realized that this was chronic self abandonment, guys. It wasn't something that was broken in me. I was just abandoning myself. The exhaustion wasn't weakness, it was the cost of repeatedly overriding my own limits in order to stay connected to people, to stay responsible, or perceived as the good daughter, the good friend, the good sister, the good mom, the good wife, all of the things. And not that being proficient or good in those things isn't important, but it was overly important to me. And as I healed, my language changed. So instead of saying, what's wrong with me? The question then became, where is my energy going? What am I tolerating? And also, how am I contributing to my own suffering, right? I know that that's a touchy one, but we have to ask that when we're healing because we are making a decision to carry what isn't ours. And in that moment, the polarity of the relief and the grief was allowed to coexist. Relief because I learned that I wasn't defective. Grief, I think because I was mourning how much of my life, right, that I missed out on, or opportunities that I missed out on or didn't have the bandwidth for, because I realized how long I was internalizing responsibility and relational strain. And the pattern was being what we call like over identifying with this role. My identity had been kind of like intertwined with being the capable one, the resilient, spiritually strong, relational responsible. Letting go, I think, of those exaggerated roles felt really destabilizing, but it was necessary for me to get to the place that I am today. And I think I reframed this responsibility to try to fix myself, and I just started reallocating my energy. And I think that that was the big shift for me. The work then shifted from overly self correcting to clarifying my boundaries. And by the way, sticking to them. So once you have clarity around your boundaries, you can have an easier time sticking to them. Emotional conservation, right? So I'm conserving my energy emotionally. That's a huge thing. Structural changes within my life, like how I'm structuring my day, my routine, honest communication about my needs with my loved ones, rebuilding internal safety, self respect replaced me constantly trying to diagnose what was wrong with myself. So I would go into therapy looking for a diagnosis. And if I didn't get that, I would come out and I would diagnose myself. Instead of searching for parts of me or the me that was broken, I started to enforce these standards around what I would engage with, absorb, and sustain, or what was emotionally sustainable for me, like what I can see myself continuing to do with the boundaries that I had set in place. The deeper realization for me, and I hope for you, is that you aren't fragile. You may just be overextended. You're not unstable. You may just be over responsible. Maybe over responsible for other people and the roles that they put on you. That you're not broken. Possibly it could be that you're carrying more that was developmentally, relationally, and emotionally appropriate for you. I know that was my story. I've been carrying these roles since I was 4 or 5 years old. And I'll tell you what changed for me after that moment is that I became more direct. I tolerated less misalignment. So, like, I asked myself, full stop, is it aligned with who I am, who I want to be, and where I'm going? If the answer is no, it's a no, full stop. I differentiated myself without collapsing. And I began leading from this integrated place instead of feeling depleted and then trying to like make things happen from depletion. And I think that that moment marked the shift from me doubting myself to me actually like leading myself. Hey, I'm Akia Red. If you were inspired and liked what you heard and it resonated with you, make sure to follow me on Instagram or subscribe to me on YouTube and on Substack.